What's up?
That's that's the tune I wrote called, got a weird history to that one. It's called Sandy Hook. And I put that out on a CD back in 2006. It was, I think, my fifth or sixth CD. And the background of it was, coming along as a kid in New Jersey, there's a place called Sandy Hook, which is the point where the Atlantic Ocean separated from the Raritan Bay, and it was a national state park. And a long time ago, it was a military fort. It was a lot of stuff going on. It's a beautiful recreation area. So anyway, that was one place that I had in mind when I wrote the song, or after I wrote the song, because I had the instrumental. And then I was in Florida years ago, but it must have been around '07. It was right after, I think, Hurricane Charlie had hit, and I was down there. I was doing some, I was playing for the Chamber of Commerce, was working a little get-together after they were trying to put their town back together. And there was a restaurant called Sandy Hook, and I'm sitting there, and I was playing the song, and I hadn't had a name for the song at the time, and I thought, well, I'll just name it Sandy Hook. Well, that's cool. And I put it on the CD, and the CD came out, and then that horrible thing in Connecticut happened, Sandy Hook. And so it was that disaster, tragedy, just horrible thing that happened. And so it changed pretty much the context of the song to where if I call it Sandy Hook and people wonder about it, then I just have to call it kind of a celebration of life is really what I call it, because the name changed, after that horrible, event went down. But it's done well. I've used it. It's been featured in some TV shows here and there, and it's just an instrumental, just something that I started writing and put together.
Tell me about this guitar you're playing.
Yeah, this one is, I bought this in like 1975, and it was from a guitar store somewhere in Atlanta. It was, I think I paid like $200 for it. It's a Gibson J50, and it's just still, I'd taken it on the road for a long time. It's a little more adept to just staying close to home and writing and playing in situations like this, but it still sounds wonderful. And I've got light gauge Elixir strings on it. I have an endorsement with those folks. I have an endorsement with Taylor Guitars, but this is my old Gibson that I do a lot of writing on it and playing, and it's just one of those things. It's like an old pair of shoes. It just feels really good, when you play it. It sounds good.
So you bought it new?
No, it was used then.
And you bought it in '74?
Yeah, I think it was like 75 or 76, right in there somewhere. And but I think it's a mid '60s J50.
All right. So what do you like about it?
It's just got that good ring. It's just got it just feels good. And it's settled in. Like I said, it's like an old pair of shoes. It was never electrified. I do have a pickup that I used to put in. That kind of takes away the acoustic sound. If you put a regular pickup in there, it's more like just a clean electric guitar. And it doesn't sound bad. It did okay. But the only problem with that pickup is I was getting more. Wasn't getting equal sound on each string. I think the higher strings were coming across louder than the lower strings, or vice versa, something like that. The sound wasn't balanced on it. But if you sit in front of a mic or out front, or just sit and play it, it just sounds wonderful.
You got something else you wrote on there?
Yeah, I named the CD, I think it was my fifth CD back in 2002. And I wrote this instrumental song. It's just called Pastime. It's the title track of a CD I did in 2002. It's instrumental, used it as the title track. It's named after my house. Basically, my next door neighbor in New Jersey when I was a kid, the folks way back in the day used to name their houses, and Pastime was on their house when I was just a little kid. My grandparents bought the house eventually and would use it as a summer hangout. And after they passed and we were getting ready to sell the house up there back in the 80s, I was going through stuff upstairs and I found the old Pastime sign. from back in early century. I mean, 1900. And I brought it with me back down here to Georgia. It's on my house now. And it's called Pastime, this song. So that's Pastime.
All right. Thanks.